Welcome back to Season 2 of Dis Media, a Startup Story, the podcast where I take you along our journey of starting Dis Media from the ground up. You get to hear all about our challenges and accomplishments as we either grow Dis Media or go bust. Either way, you're going to have a front row seat to hear it all. And along the way, we're going to have some special guests who share with us their wisdom and insights and what helped them along their startup journey to success. So get ready as we get into it and try to help those get better at what they do. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Dis Media, a Startup Story. I am your host once again. As always, I feel like that's a tired intro. Maybe I need to clean that up and just say, this is Ben. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Anyway, this is Ben Olmos and my counterpart in crime, Alan. Alan, how are you doing?
Doing wonderful. I don't like the cold. So
yeah,
take it away, man.
It is, we're recording this at the start of the new year, and it is cold in the South, which doesn't happen but a couple times a year. So we're more fortunate than those north of us, but it is still something of a bit of shock and awe when it happens down here.
Yeah, hey, so other than that, doing well.
So the last couple episodes, we had some great guests to kick off the new year with Danielle and with Ken, and learned some fascinating stuff from both of those folks. I mean, Danielle has an amazing wealth of experience in the change management space, and talk about a guy who is making change and trying to positively impact the communities around him that he's serving. Ken was also just equally fascinating. And, that gets me to kind of what we're doing in this episode, which is kind of an update of everything that's been going on, because we had, going out of 2023, John Pabon, who came on and shared with us some insights around the work he does around greenwashing, his new book that's coming out in March. And we haven't really taken time to catch up on Dis Media because we've been visiting with some other friends, and that's always fun. By the way, anybody who's interested in has an interesting story, reach out, give us a shout. Let us know what your story is around entrepreneurism and your business, your book, your things that you're working on. We'd love to hear from you. But this episode, we're going to talk about Dis Media and get a little caught up on that and what we've been doing. So as we got through the end of the year, and this is something I have expressed on TikTok, I have talked about a little bit on this podcast, which is, we are called the Daily Pitch. I want to get to a point where I'm putting content out daily on the website. Now, one of my 2024 resolutions, I guess we can call it, is that I decided to do a TikTok post a day, which also, by the way, makes it to Facebook and LinkedIn. So if you're not checking out our Facebook and LinkedIn, please do, because that's where all of the stuff we're doing on the Daily Pitch, that's where it all winds up. So in a sense, I am doing a daily update, but I'm not necessarily talking about it, every day on the podcast. So as we closed out 2023, one of the things I was doing was focusing on our website and making tweaks, making adjustments, making ads so that it continues to evolve into something that is more polished. And some of that was adding cookie and GDPR. Basically, when you are a website and you have people who you want to try and become members of the site, or you have regular visitors, you want to make them aware that you're using cookies and you're collecting information. And it's something that everybody's experiencing this now. You go on a website and you get a thing that pops up that says, hey, just to let you know, cookies are being used on this website. So made sure that we had that implemented. The other thing was, because I wasn't putting content out every single day. One of the things that I did was, and Alan, you remember this, when we first started this thing, we were just running and gunning. we were blasting we were blasting content out and, just trying to make our mark and get things online and push stuff. And now we're being more methodical about the content and thoughtful about what we put out there. But optimizing search engines so that we're using the right terms and keywords and finding the right people to land on our site, we're really doing a better job of that. But I had to retroactively go back and tweak several pages, several articles to really prime them for SEO optimization. So I did a lot of that. In addition, there's a great tool that we use. I've talked about it in a couple TikTok videos called Social Pilot. And this is what helps us with our social media posts. So as we're posting across Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, we're making sure that all of our content is in a content library. So I went back and I took every single thing that we've posted so far, put it into Social Pilot, tagged it, uh, optimized each post and made sure, all of that is done. And so all of these things took a tremendous amount of time. And Alan, as you know, I mean, I'm pretty much the guy in the seat on the technical back end doing all this stuff. So that's what I spent the end of 2023 doing, creating really tuning up the website, tuning up the articles, the optimization of things, um, tuning up our social media presence, and then committing to new types of social media outreach, all in an attempt to grow this thing because, as I've shared with you and the board, we got to make something this year. Like, we got to make some money. We got to recoup something. It costs money for all this stuff to happen. And I'm not necessarily looking for a paycheck out of this. What I'm looking for right now is to break even on our operating costs. And so we have a target for that to happen. And I feel like if we can run to break even, then we should be able to skip along into profitability, right? So
Skip along. I like that verb. Is that a verb? That's something we can just slide along, skip along. Hey, can I correct you on something else too? Because you were talking about what you've been doing the last few months, and I have to correct the record on this. You're not only the one pulling the technical back in there. You've been driving the content every day. And granted, I mean, it's been inspirational to watch the other people come on board. You created author pages for us, and that's been a massive, very, very helpful thing for people like me as an independent author and consultant. You put the subscription thing on the page to let people sign up for the weekly newsletter that comes in. And so all these
yeah.
enhancements, yeah, this is good stuff, Ben. And I sit back and I think, okay, so if I were looking at this like a curve, right? When I joined in like the May June timeframe, it was kind of moving along like that, and we were throwing stuff at the wall to see what stuck. And but it just, I think, in the last 4 months has been this acceleration, this geometric progression, as you have gotten more used to the tools, and you're out there and they're working for you. You've gotten the board more engaged and more involved, and you've made it more user friendly for people to get into it, whatever their social media. So, I think we're eons above where we were just 4 months ago. That's my take.
Well, it's funny. I remember just recently, you were feeling really good about things because you're like, we've got all this stuff working and it's all moving in the right direction. And yes, our traffic is up on the site, but man, it is so not where it needs to be. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
in contrast to what a lot of, in contrast to what we're shooting for, like, um, we are still crawling in the way of traffic. And that is one of the most intriguing elements of what we're doing here, because I can't tell you, Alan, the number of YouTube videos and TikTok videos and Instagram videos I've seen from two camps of people. One, influencers who are trying to tell people how easy it is, with just a few X, Y, and Z, you can grow your audience, blah, blah, blah. Grow, Matt said it. I repeat it in my head all the time. Audiences take time. You really have to work hard for them. And to that point, I am so appreciative of the people who find us and give feedback on what they like or even don't like about what we're doing in the site and all that stuff. I mean, every bit of feedback is nice to
Yes.
hear.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people, and the interesting thing about feedback, the remarks you get from people, is very few people give feedback. A lot of people often keep the thoughts they have about something in their head, and they just don't reach out, or they figure, "Oh, they don't have time to." Man, let me tell you something. Every email I get, every comment on something I read them all.
Yes.
I read them all
Yes.
because
Yes.
I need to know whether we are on track or off track, if we're doing a good job or not. If this resonates with people. And I'll tell you, I recently did an article on the Tetris effect on PTSD. And I found it really fascinating, this topic, because I was doing some research on workplace stress. And in the context of doing that research, I came across a mention about Tetris as a reduction for trauma. And I thought, wow, that was interesting. What had recently happened was the airplane door that flew off the Boeing 737, and
Yes.
somebody made mention that that is a very traumatic event. Can you imagine being on that plane? And then somebody responded to, You should start playing Tetris." And I saw that remark and I was like, what are they talking about? And when somebody says something weird like that, I did a little querying, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is what they meant." I had no idea. And apparently Tetris is something that, if you are newly exposed to a traumatic event, it is something that can help you work through it. Did some research, found some articles, and I wrote about it. I'm not an expert in this subject matter. I'm not a therapist. I don't claim to be one. I don't help people through those kinds of issues. But I wrote about it. I put an article about it and I posted it on Facebook. And I had an old friend of mine. He kind of got a little upset about what I said or what I wrote, the article. I put it out there like I always do. My friend lost his son.
Oh, wow. That's awful. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a army soldier, served in Afghanistan, Iraq, and his dad is still dealing with a lot of the things that come along with that. And I don't pretend to be an expert in this area, and my sympathies go out to all those who deal with that. But he really got upset about it, and he's like, "What do you know? You need to stop talking about things like this." And it makes
Yeah.
me realize that the things we're doing here, Alan, we try and take the positive upside, and we try and focus on the things that are going to make a positive impact. I always say, help people get better at what they do. So that's kind of
Yeah.
the message. But I also feel like, we should talk about certain things. And I'm not saying that we have to be experts in it, but at the same time, I think things like that are fascinating bits of information that I hope somebody sees it maybe the other side, that they don't see it as this me trying to play expert and say you should do this or that. Rather, I'm just trying to report information and say, here's something intriguing to look into.
Well, here's another view that I think is pretty important about it. And I feel I feel the sensitivity to this person, um, but there's nothing that's going to bring his son back. No amount of podcasts are going to fix that. But this podcast, the one that you did, the way we focus on enduring things and enduring themes and values and things, you never know when it's going to reach someone and inspire them and make a positive difference to them and maybe prevent someone else from losing their life for the same thing. So it just, there's always going to be someone that's going to be either hurt or offended or challenged by the the razor's edge that we walk these days in social media. But the fact is, everything that you posted is there to help somebody make the world better.
Yeah.
And so, my compliments to you for that, for realizing that in spite of those sentiments, we got to do the right thing. And if we can prevent one person from taking their life, yeah, get one person to go. You and I've talked about this with cancer, and we'll talk more later. To have the opportunity to save a life, yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah, and I think we are one, it reminds me that what we're doing here carries with it a sense, really kind of a tremendous sense of responsibility that we don't want to add to the confusion, popular term, misinformation that exists
Yeah.
out there. The idea behind what we're trying to do is bring good, positive, insightful, pragmatic, realistic information to people who I think, in large part, are really kind of looking for content
Yes.
that's going to help them. Again, my phrase that I've coined: get better at what they do. You know,
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
that's always the angle. So as we're kind of coming into 2024, that is the focus. I would say um number one, write and put out their content that resonates with people, that connects with people. And man, I tell you, our friend Danielle, she is making it happen. She uh put out an article recently about
Yes.
the correlations between the hip hop culture and leadership. And man, that really did well. Well for us. Probably not well for the New York Times, but it did well for us. So I always love it when people are putting out there just these interesting things that really make you think. So we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to try and break even this year. That is the goal. We need to keep this thing going into 2025, and the only way we're going to do that is getting us an audience of people. And I do have the newsletter out there, and the newsletter is not intended to be a subscription thing. We're not asking for money for it, but we put stuff out all the time, and I'm not vain enough to think that, what, you don't have our website on your daily rundown of things you check every day. Um, so signing up for the newsletter is a great way of knowing all of this content gets delivered to you in a weekly email. So everything we put out the week before, you get it all summarized in a nice newsletter. So that way you can find things and say, "Oh, this one's interesting to me," and take a dive into that. And then, if you skim the headlines and you're like, "Wow, all this really sucks," then you don't have to do anything.
It's free. And the point is, it's efficient because I mean, honestly, truth in advertising, you inundate me with all your articles and all those kinds of things every day. And I can't read them all every day, but I love getting the recap. And that way I can pick and choose and go to it. So I think it's a great ad. And who doesn't want a free subscription to something?
A
I'm
lot
just
of people,
telling you,
Alan,
right?
a lot of people don't want a free prescription. They want any more junk in their email box. But
We're not junk.
no, this is true. This is true. We're certainly not trying to be junk in your email box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that's that has been the happening so far. And we had our first board meeting for the year. I kind of laid out for you guys all of the changes that I've made, a lot of things that I explained here, walked you guys through Social Pilot, all of the content library, some of our Google Analytics, some of our social media analytics. So I don't know. It feels like it's moving in the right direction, but you know, still, man, it's just banging a drum. And it's funny. TikTok. I love doing my TikTok videos. But TikTok is so finicky. Like when I first posted, like the first post I did, man, I got like 1,700 views, and I was like, "Oh wow, this is great! I'm doing TikTok every day. This is encouraging." And the next day, dropped a little bit. Next day, dropped a little bit, and then it kind of leveled out for a second, and I was like, "Okay, well,
Uh,
not as good as the first one, but I could live with this." And then I did something. I have a business account. The Daily Pitch is a business account on TikTok, and uh, I set it up for subscribers so that if you wanted to subscribe to the newsletter, you could do that from the TikTok account. That just killed our numbers. Like we literally went from 700 views a day to like 30.
wow.
Yeah.
By wait. Explain that to me. I don't understand that.
Well,
What happened?
okay. So here's what I assume happened is TikTok has the ability for you as a business account to create a call to action. So if you want someone to, purchase a product that you're trying to sell or a service or whatever, you put a call to action. And I thought, oh, well, I'll put a call to action, subscribe to our newsletter. I'm going to hit these hundreds of people I'm reaching every day, and I'm going to try and get them to subscribe. Well, I think TikTok goes, oh, well, if you want to do that, this is pay for play, man. So yeah, you could put that on there, but we're going to need a little something from you if you really want to get people to see this and you really want to get that call to action to happen. So we're not going to give you that for free. We want you to
Oh,
buy some exposure from us. And there will be a point in time when we do that, but um right now, as we are bootstrapping and we don't have a lot of money, this is not the
yeah,
time. So,
yeah.
so I took all of that off, and lo and behold, now we're back on the upswing again. So,
Well, it's
it,
a crazy,
but
crazy world.
these are
Yeah.
the lessons that you learn as you go through this stuff. And right now we're all about like tell a friend, share this, like it. I'll put it this way: if you think we suck, please at least tell us so we can get better. Because what I don't want you to tell your friends is that we suck and we shouldn't be an investment in your time.
Thank you. Yes, we said it before. The only feedback that's bad is the feedback you don't hear.
Yeah. Oh, you know what, Alan? This is something else that I thought I want to share with you here. So, all right, Alan, I got to
That's cool.
thinking, what if I printed up like 1,000 of these stickers? And so for the listeners at home, the sticker is basically, well, it would be a circle, and it says the Daily Pitch, and right underneath it is a QR code. And I just start slapping these all over wherever I travel, you know, stop sign on the side of a road. But wherever I just start slapping these Daily Pitch stickers with a QR code, and the QR code goes to our homepage. I don't know what the lift would be, and I mean, this is very localized advertising. So when it comes down to is like I have a very meager advertising budget. do I print stickers or do I do a $5 a day ad campaign and hope to drive traffic to the site off of some like, low value thing like
Mm.
that? Decisions. Like if you had $250 to spend trying to market what we're doing, how would you spend it?
It's an interesting thing. So Matt is our resident subject matter expert on media stuff, right?
Yeah.
What advice is he giving that? I mean, as you continue to evolve this thing, how can he help? Is there something he's doing on his own website?
Well, yeah, he has been helpful when I've when I've reached out to him about this stuff. And one of the things that he told me was that if we buy audience
Yeah,
online, we're going to get the traffic, but the minute we stop paying for it, that traffic's going to die down.
yeah, okay,
And his initial feedback was try and get as much organic growth as you can before you
makes
start
sense.
paying for stuff. Now, I
Yeah,
have purposely kept our cost of operations low because I want to create a break even scenario for us with our cost of operations. So, if I can keep our cost of operations low enough to break even, then once I break even, I'll feel comfortable enough to then start spending money on the traffic growth strategy, the online ad strategy for traffic growth. And then that
yeah,
hopefully starts to offset what I spend. So, the whole idea is to continually work to break even for the next little bit here and not necessarily
right.
work for profitability. And any profit we have, just reinvest it into what we're doing to continue
Yeah,
to grow the traffic.
absolutely, makes perfect sense. And you talked last year. We were discussing, 2024 and the focus, and nice to see that you still got that crisp laser focus. You know exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it. We just have to find a way to stick the fishing lines out there and hope that
Yeah.
we can get something on the end of it, right?
Yeah, and this is kind of why we do this podcast is I'm trying to give people the real life picture of don't be lured in by these people online who are like just a couple easy clicks and if you listen to these guys oftentimes they're like, hey, and if you're going to set up a Shopify site, use my code. It's like, well, what do you want to push all of your affiliate stuff and get people to spend their money and then get frustrated by the fact that they can't get the
Yes,
growth.
yes,
The other
yes,
important thing
yes.
that I'm learning through all this too is we have a strategy,
Yep.
but this is constant work. I mean, and what I mean by that, I think anybody who does this every day can appreciate this is when I say it's constant work, something my TikTok video, perfect example, right? I put it out there, gets a bunch of hits, gets a bunch of likes, you feel good. The next day you put something out there, doesn't resonate. And you're like, well, what do you mean? Like, aren't I charming and appealing? Like, I don't understand. I was yesterday. Um, you're
Don't you still love me?
don't you still love me? You're constantly
Uh,
uh giving offerings to the algorithm gods and hope that
yeah.
they will recognize your offering and bless you with traffic. It is really tough. And it's no wonder why sometimes you see people out there do ridiculous stunts in an effort
Yes.
to try and get their numbers up. And here I was just talking about defacing property, putting stickers all over town. Um,
It's just a refrigerator, man.
but but I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
I get why people do it. But we got to be smarter than just that. It's so yeah. When Matt remarks that audiences take time, and he says focus on the organic growth. um I understand what he means, and it's tough. It's a slog. Uh it is something that is challenging, I think, for any business owner out there. So, and to that point, I would love to hear from other people who um either didn't break through uh all of the pain and turmoil and challenges you had and still not broke through, or the success stories, just as well. I think we learn from it all. So anybody listening, if you happen to have any wise words or things you want to talk about, would love to entertain you on this podcast.
Let me just reinforce for people that are listening in on this. A lot of people say what Ben is saying, you got any feedback, send it to us, and then they don't really want to hear it, don't want to listen to it. I got to tell you, Ben is transparent completely. We need, when he says, I will read it, I will take action. He means it. He does it with his board. You do it with you. The worst thing in the world, though, is to be sitting where we're sitting, trying to understand and grow the business. And we need those insights and feedback that y'all are sitting on. So share your wisdom with us and give us some ideas of things we could do or try differently. And I I know it would be deeply appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, Alan, let's bring it home. Any parting words as we look to wrap this up and look to our next episode?
Yeah, I do. And to sum up everything that I've been hearing, people are looking for the value proposition with anything that they do these days. And I just like to make it clear when Ben, you said, what we do is we want to help people get better at what they do. And that's a value proposition, but it's not complete. And I'm going to add the sub phrase to it. When they do that, and when we help them get better at what they do, we help them get better at who they are. We're growing people here. We're growing leaders. We're growing a cadre of people that will be better entrepreneurs, better leaders, better family members, and better friends. The lessons that we talk about on our websites and all that, and the videos, it's all the podcast. It's enduring values to help people grow and be better. And we're hoping to do the same thing and learn from each of them ourselves. So that's my parting words.
Awesome. Well, Alan, thank you so much. Thanks to everybody who takes the time to listen to this, and we continue to want to share what we're doing, spread some insight and wisdom, and hope that it's going to help everybody benefit in that way. So, if you are interested in hearing more about the Daily Pitch and Dist Media and all that we have going on, consider subscribing to this podcast, because it does help to know that what we're doing is helping people and resonating. And we have more interesting guests planned throughout the year. So we are actively working our networks and contacts, and just people like Alan. I sent you an email recently of somebody who reached out to me and
Yes.
said,
Yes.
hey, I started this business. I think it would be kind of cool to talk about. And yeah, so, it happens that way. I love the fact that we're able to reach people, make connections, and people are reaching back out. So that is awesome. Thanks everybody for checking out this episode. We look forward to seeing you, hearing you. You'll be back. All right. Good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
All right, all. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Dist Media, a startup story. This podcast was produced and edited by Ben Olmos and is a production of Dist Media Corporation. If you're interested in learning more about anything you heard on this episode, please reach out to us at podcast@distmedia.com. You can also get more information about this and other episodes, or information about our guests, by checking out dailypitch.news, our business and insights publication focused on helping managers, leaders, and entrepreneurs get better at what they do.